Very good morning to all of you. I am always been grateful to come back what I call my second home to Gandhinagar University. It's always a proud privilege seeing this place grow each and every time I come back. There is some huge change that takes place. Independence is about freedom, but nation building or individual building is a responsibility, and that never ends. So, young generation, young ladies and gentlemen, and the future leaders, I don't want to talk to you about what happened in 1947, but I'm going to talk to you about what you need to do for 2047. 20 years is the time that you have. That will be when you will be at your peak. For the new batch, you were given a welcome, and in the welcome, you were handed down by your vice president a blank notebook that you were expected to fill over the next 20 years. Let me just explain that what exactly is the meaning of this blank notebook. So, without taking you back to what happened in 1947 and before that, let's talk about what happened after that. And we will also connect these events, the nation, and the building block of the nation, every one of you. Each one of you is the brick. Supposing your freedom is taken away, supposing a nation were to lose its freedom, what do you get to lose? You get to lose your freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And for the Gen Z, you get to lose your internet, your mobile, your careers, your dreams. I'm sure you have a question. How can we lose our freedom? Yes, we have lost our freedom many a times. Not as a complete nation, theoretically not as a nation, but yes, in parts and in small times. Without going into too many details, too many historical facts, I'm going to cover what you are associated with. 1998-99, they came into our territory and they occupied something known as Kargil area. The latest Netflix series, Operation Safed Sagar, I'm sure some of you have seen it, some of you are in the process, and some of you plan to. And those who don't plan to, let me just give you an insight. Every single second of that Operation Safed Sagar series is nearly real. It is true. And I can say this with confidence. You know why? I served the Indian Air Force during that time and I wear a medal of that operation. And I know a large number of those people. I have served with them. The culture, the behavior, the training, the out of the box thinking of training, tying up motorcycles with ropes and trying to see how a formation of aircraft is to be done. Yes, whether it was getting a young couple settled down right up to the death of squad leader Ahuja and the final victory. So, how does this take place? We lost our freedom. We lost a part of our independence in that area. The Indian Army could never reach there, and we had lost a part of our territory. How did we get it back? Because of the strength, the resilience that we had built up over the years. Last year, 26 of our people, our citizens, they lost their lives. They lost the freedom of a vacation. They've lost the freedom of enjoying. And a large more number of people lost the freedom of practicing their religion. That is what I mean, that how you can lose your freedom through your entire life. There are times when you will, in your path, you will come across speed breakers, roadblocks, barriers, diversions. How you cross them is the actual requirement of your success path. The path that you have to follow. Not just that you have to pass out of a school or a university and get your first job. Oh yes, that is definitely called independence. The first job, your first placement is definitely is called independence and freedom because now you have your own money to earn, your own money to spend. But what you do after that is the actual journey. This year, not only just did India lose a huge part of its freedom and independence, but the whole world did. I am talking about the US-Iran war and the small little bit called the Strait of Hormuz. That Strait of Hormuz, unless somebody really had very good geography, they had never heard of it. And what did it do? It ruined the freedom. It took away the freedom of giving you fuel, petrol, diesel, plastics, including your own homes, LPG cooking gas. How much did India get? Out of 196 countries in the world, can I say this with pride? India was amongst the only nations which could stand straight, strong, and tide over it. Not a single home went without food. How did this all happen? How did this resilience build up? The story is based on each one of you. How is it connected to each one of you? Let me tell you a small little incident about the Japanese and the Japanese concept, the Japanese culture. Long back in the World War II, they were destroyed. I'm sure most of you have heard of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing. A few students were sitting in a university like this and attending their classes. And they used to keep sharpening their pencil. While the modern Americans were using all kinds of fancy pens. The Europeans there, they had even other fancy pens and technologies to use. But these poor little Japanese who had just come out of the shop, the country had totally been devastated. They used to keep sharpening their pens and keep using that. The Americans came to them and said, why don't you borrow our pens? We'll give it to you. Stop using these age-old, Stone Age pencils in here. The Japanese gave a very beautiful reply. We appreciate your technology, but these pencils are Japanese. And that's why we will continue using them till we make our own technology. So yes, that last skit where each one has to join hands and do the building block. Each one has a responsibility towards your own self. Start with your own self. And then take it towards the nation. The part where I'm going to do a little cheating. I'm going to tell you what you have to write in that blank notebook. Sorry, ma'am, but I need to give them a little hint. So let me ask you, what you just said here in the skit in various parts, can I summarize that into just 3 things I want from you? I want 3 commitments from you. The first commitment, you will never stop learning. And trust me, it is the biggest pathway to growth. Today morning I was talking to the registrar and I told him, I haven't stopped learning, I'm still a student. And I always will be. I think something like this was the words given to you by the gentleman from ISRO, where he talked about grow and keep growing. Yes, you have to do that. Bachelor's degree was not enough for me. And at a very late age, I decided I must continue learning. So I went on to get as many masters as I could, as many fields as I could. What does a pilot coming from an arts background have to do with engineering, with architecture, with design, with strategic management, with international relations? Yes, it does help. The second commitment, you have to maintain the highest standards of integrity. Not for the policeman that you wear a helmet, not because somebody is watching you, but when nobody is watching. Give that integrity to yourself. And the third and the last commitment I'm asking you for, always keep doing things which are bigger than you. That is the meaning of growth. Who says you can't? Whatever you can dream of, just wake up and actually follow your dream and keep doing it. You know what is the biggest challenge that you all have? I'm especially addressing the Gen Z. You have artificial intelligence to enjoy and artificial intelligence to take away everything. You have technology, but you are becoming a slave of technology. You can have a lot of focus if you want to, especially when it comes to reels or how many thumbs up. But that is the flip side. That is your biggest enemy, distraction. Take away that just one word from your life, distraction. And believe me, you have the power to do anything that you wish to. You are the future. Ladies and gentlemen, 1947 mein, is Desh, our forefathers gave that to the next generation. That was passing on the baton of the freedom. The next generation came and they built a foundation. The foundation on which we, our generation stood. Our generation took it one step forward. We made it strong. The Tiranga is now yours. What is your aim? How do you want to handle it? That is your call. Remember one thing, that the pathway to success will always have their share of difficulties. There is no pathway of success without difficulties. But the true success is despite those difficulties. Let me at least correct myself as an Air Force pilot with you. So how does an aircraft fly? Because of its wings? Because of its engines? Wrong answer. An aircraft cannot even take off unless the winds are against it. The winds have to be against it, only then can an aircraft take off. The wings, the engines are just the freedom given to it. The true life of an aircraft is when it flies. That is always against the wind. Give me your blood, I'll give you freedom. Those were the words of Subhash Chandra Bose. Today, Wing Commander Dinesh Wasawni, I'm going to modify those words a little. Give me your sweat, give me your focus, I'll give you success. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.